Hi, this right here is my watch. My daddy gave it to me a long time ago. And if I didn't know how to read a regular clock, I wouldn't be able to wear this watch. I'll admit I don't wear watches much, I just look at my phone for the time. But it's a nice piece of jewelry. You can get big watches, fun watches that have got bright colors. Men get these fancy black watches that do 1,000 things. Mr. Vaughn has a watch that will answer his phone for him. But you need to know how to read what's called the analog clock. So let's talk a little bit more. You did one of these a couple weeks ago. Let's talk a little bit more about how the clock works. Again, we have the clock. At the top of the clock is the 12. Here is the 3. Here is the 6. Here is the 9. Some watches, that's all they have on them. That's all this one has. It has that, and it has a little mark here, and a little mark here, and a little mark there, and a little mark there. But what do those represent? This is the 1. This is the 2. This is the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and back up to the top at 12. I'm not sure who invented this, but there it is. I'm sorry, we have a glare on the 4. There we go. And then we have the hands. So we talked about the short one points to the hour, and the long one points to the minute. And we had the short one pointing like this, and the long one pointing like this would be 2:30. Half of the 60-minute hour is 30, so this is 30 minutes here. I'll write that a little bit bigger. So let's count by 5s and go around. So this is 5. This is 0 up here. 10, 15, this is the minutes. Right? 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, and back to 0 again. So 55 would be right here at the 11, then 56, 57, 58, 59, and then back to the 0. Let's give the 0 a special color, because it's where everything resets. So in between here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, la, 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 all the way around. So if I had my clock, and this is the time when I looked at it, it would be 2 by the hour. This is the hour. Let's make the hour hand a different color. Let's make it green. Yeah? Hour, green. I don't know why hours are green, but they are. Okay? And then the long one tells you how many minutes. So it started up here right at 2 o'clock, but it's gone tick, 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 down to here. So it's now 2:15. On a digital clock, it would look like that. 2, and then the little dots, 15. That's not straight, but oh well. So let's practice reading some. What if it's 2, 15, 16, 17. So it'd be 2:17 would be the time. 2:17. Usually with this kind of clock, though, we don't get super picky and we'll just say it's about 2:15, a little past 2:15. So let's say that our long hand, our short hand, our hour hand is pointing to the, 5. And this is pointing like that. What time is it? It is 5 minutes after 5. The digital clock would have it as But we usually say, we don't say 5:05, usually we say 5 minutes after 5. What if it was like this? Still, our hour hand is about pointing to the 5, but it's like this. That's pointing to this one right here. That's 4:56, or we would say about 5 minutes before 5. So this is pointing almost to the 5. It's not quite there yet. By the time this hand gets up to 12, this will point straight to the 5, and it'll be 5 o'clock. Time to feed the dog, or whatever it is you do at 5 o'clock. So we didn't talk about this the other day, but as the minute hand goes around, when it's exactly 4 o'clock, whoops, wrong color, whoops, here's the middle. When it's exactly straight up, beginning of the hour, and it's exactly 4 o'clock, it points straight to the 4. I'll just put a little line showing where it's pointing. But by the time it's 4:30, by the time this guy has, 30 minutes has gone by, and this hand is going tick, 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 all the way around here, this is actually not pointing at the 4 anymore, because between 4:30 and 5, it's got to get to the 5. So it's actually going to be pointing about halfway in between. But we still know it's 4:30 because the hand hasn't gotten to 5 yet, but it's 4:30. Now, if this comes around another 20 minutes, and it's pointing up here now, we would say it's 4:50 or 10 minutes before 5. This hand is actually going to be pointing more kind of like that. Not quite at the 5 yet, but closer to the 5 than the 4, because in 10 more minutes, it's going to be 5 o'clock. So if you have a clock like this, and once we get back to school, we're going to have a clock like this, we'll look at this a little closer. Maybe I'll get Miss Yolanda's clock and we'll turn the little dial and watch those hands move. So between 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock, this green hand very, very slowly moves toward the 5, while this one's going like that. All right, so I'm going to give you some clocks, and I'm going to have you give me both ways of saying the time, if it's in this range here. If it's down here, we say 4:30, 4:35, 4:40, but once it gets past 4:45, we usually say 10 minutes before 5, 5 minutes before 5, that kind of thing. Hold on while I draw you a couple of clocks. So what would we call that one? It's almost 7. Or sorry, a little after 7. How much after 7? All right, what about that next one? What is that? And I'll give you one more. Okay, only on this one do I want both ways of saying it. Talking about the 3 and about the 4, because if you look, it's not quite to the 4 yet. So I want you to say 3 and the 10 minutes after, and also what before 4. All right. See you next time. Enjoy your new watch.